What's up, guys? It's your boy Josh Showtime. It's your Showtime Fight Forum along with my man 100 Grand, Josh Fight, yes. And we're here to talk boxing, man. Let's get this thing going. Let's get this thing going. First of all, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm always good, man. Always good. Oh, make sure y'all follow us on social media. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Josh's Fight Forum. Talk all things fights as well. We love to get some engagement. We love to debate. Love to have a good conversation, and also learn a little bit, teach a little bit. And we always make sure that we drop. Today's is. You never know what miracle or crazy fight that's happened on the day that we're living on right now. So little good tidbit. And Josh, that's been really dope. So I appreciate you for doing that.
Yeah, of course.
Now, today's discussion is going to be a woulda, coulda, shoulda. All right, we're going to talk about future pay-per-view generational fight. All right. So I saw on Twitter someone mentioned saying, "Will we ever have another Mayweather versus Pacquiao?" And it got me thinking of saying, if there was a fight that we can make, not necessarily just today, but if we can make maybe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, maybe 4 years from now, what fight could possibly build up to the level of a Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao? Because I'll give you one example of a fight that we assumed, we thought, but realistically, it wasn't even close. And that was the Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. We thought there's two guys in their prime, and granted, actually, it was a better fight. And two, probably was a more important fight because these guys were in their prime. They both had belts and they unified. It made an undisputed champion. Whereas it really didn't do any of that. None of that applied to the Mayweather and Pacquiao fight. But yet still, globally, money wise, hype wise, it was nowhere near the Money Man versus Manny Pacquiao fight. So I want to know, who do you think, or what fight do you think could be a potential our version, not even say our version because I was alive and very young, but I wasn't that young. But the next generation's Mayweather versus Pacquiao.
So there's a few. I think there's about two. There's two guarantees, and I think a third potential. Okay. And the reason why I say, I hope this doesn't rub anyone the wrong way, but contrast in fights is always going to be your biggest fights.
Always.
So what I mean by that is, although right now you may think a Canelo versus Benavidez is that fight, and that's one of the three fights that I'm thinking about. The other fight that I think would be better than that, which also features Canelo, is a Terrence Bud Crawford fight with Canelo. And simply put, it's because Canelo is Mexican and Crawford is black.
I mean,
that's just simply put. That is why I think this would be a crazy buildup, as opposed to, yes, as us boxing fans and just overall fans in general, even if you're a casual, a Benavidez Canelo fight, you're just gonna tune in anyways. It's really for Battle of Mexico, best Mexican star, let's be honest. But here in a Crawford Canelo fight, we're looking at a fight where we're saying to ourselves, this is who we think is the two baddest people on the planet, if we're being honest. Yep. Crawford and Canelo are not arguably, they're in everyone's top five. I would go as far as top three for everybody, but I'm just going to say top five for now. Yeah. With that being said, that to me would be more of in my opinion, the fight that would be the real build up. Although someone who is Mexican may say, no, the fight is Benavidez Canelo. That's the fight. But then again, you're Mexican. We're talking about worldwide.
Even with that point, though, Mexicans, they can say, oh, yeah, that's the fight we want to see. But you want to know what fight they would spend more, they would get their emotions involved more, and they would actually care about more? Terrence Crawford. You want to know why?
Crawford Canelo.
Because you're not splitting the Mexican fan base. It's literally we're riding for Canelo, no matter what. All right, because Benavidez and Canelo, you'll still like the actual Mexicans are more than likely going to still go for Canelo. That's fine. But you're going to have some people that honestly don't like the way Canelo's been quote unquote ducking on Benavidez that will go on Benavidez side. If Canelo versus Terrence Crawford, like you said, happens, you're going to have all the Mexican fan base. We already know Mexican fan base is probably one of the deepest, if not the deepest, in boxing. And then you have the Black American, which is also super deep and has such a foundation in boxing history. It's just like Floyd would absolutely like love to actually be in his prime to make that kind of fight. And we already know when Floyd fought Canelo, they broke records. It was such a big fight. We're talking about a potentially bigger fight because Terrence Crawford is still in his prime, clearly, and he has the threat of a knockout. Granted, we both probably don't think this, but he could possibly knock him out. We didn't think Errol Spence could get knocked out. What the hell happened?
Yeah, unfortunately. So I mean, anything can happen to your point. I think the contrast of this, not styles, personalities, but just cultures makes that a big fight. And then lastly, I think the next closest fight we have to this type of buildup would be a Shakur versus a Tank. It would be, but once again, this is so borderline. You're really tuning in because if you know boxing or if you're a casual, you know these names. And if you're a just combat sports fan in general, you're probably just watching more so also because you're looking for a Tank fight. But I think outside of that, once again, even though Shakur is technically half Puerto Rican, that is a fun fact almost for him.
He brings it up too. So it's not like it's one of those things he ignores. He dives into the fact he's Puerto Rican.
Yeah, he'll definitely alert people and let people know he's Puerto Rican. He does wear it on his trunks. But, I would say the casual fan would say more so he's a Black American fighter, right? So I think in that aspect, he is, once again in the boat of a Benavidez Canelo fight where we're watching because we love boxing and we know these are the two biggest stars in boxing, but the contrast is not there as opposed to, the only contrast there is really Shakur is a boxer, Tank is a puncher, and these are the two best. But I don't think I wouldn't say universally everyone has Tank and Shakur in their top 5.
Yeah, just because of how Shakur has been fighting.
Right.
I think those are solid choices. I think so. For me, I'm gonna paint a picture. I'm gonna even tell you the plan. Shakur, Tank, they already fight. Tank knocks him out. All right. So Tank knocks Shakur out. He's probably gonna be most people's pound for pound king. If not, he'll be like 2 or 3. Yet still, he knocks him out. Then he goes around and he just like kind of plays with 140, but he stays at 135. That's his main. Because realistically, Tank will forever be a 35 pounder, really, because he's just a naturally small guy. He's not a big guy at all. But there will be a guy that's lower than him that will be climbing the ranks, stacking up belts. That's also in people's top 3, top 2, possibly 1. That's going to be getting belts. That has a whole country. Matter of fact, might have a whole continent on his side. And that's where I'm thinking the same as contrast. We're talking about a black guy. We're talking about a Japanese guy. And we're talking about 2 fan bases that, like, don't get it twisted, guys. Asian people Asians ride for Asians, okay? And they will be deep. Granted, it would have to be in America because we already know Tank was he would be the A side no matter what. So this has to him willing to sacrifice, come to America, get used to America, fight in America. But anyway, with his junior lightweight belts bumping up to 135 to fight an undisputed Tank would be bonkers. Like, we got to remember, just off of Asians alone, you have, for China, it's 1 billion. In Japan, you still got hundreds of millions of people. Like, you're talking about a fuego amount of people that is automatically going to be tuned in. The black people, the Americans are going to be tuned in. The Asians are going to be tuned in. Mexicans love boxing in general, so they're going to tune in. You're going to have everybody tuning into this fight. And I think this will be, I could be wrong. I mean, I think I know my history, but this will be the biggest fight in Asian history. I don't even think there could be, I can't personally think of a bigger fight. And I know they're going to ride for the guy. So I just think that that is the only one, just off of numbers, interest, and the contrast. And also just the fact that if this fight was to be booked, this is the most entertaining fight you can make. Like, you have two power punchers that literally can box their ass off. And it's just, Inoue is small. That's the only biggest thing. But so is Terrence Crawford. But he's still getting bigger. And also, they said that after his fight, he was weighing around 136. So that kind of also get me a little bit interested more, because Floyd fought at 147. He walked around at 147. He was able to do it. Why can't Inoue?
Yeah, I feel that way too about a lot of boxers, right? Like, we saw Floyd Mayweather go from 120 all the way to 154 to fight Oscar De La Hoya. So that was that's what you show true greatness, right? In Floyd Mayweather. But we haven't really seen that. And, people make so big, deals about weight jumps and things like that, right? But then we praise people like Manny Pacquiao for being eight division world champion. We praise Floyd Mayweather for jumping up all these different weight classes. We praise fighters for jumping multiple weight classes. Well, Inoue could really jump up a couple weight classes or meet at a catch weight to fight Tank. So that would really be a great fight. Would love to see it. And I just feel like the UFC would have made that happen. I just feel like Dana White would make that fight happen some way, somehow.
Probably not right now, just because I still think I think, like, Inoue's big in Japan. But I think what Dana White would do, and you already brought this up and alluded to this plenty of times, which is they would have been brought Inoue in. You would have to have Inoue in for probably 2 years, at least a year or two. Give him like at least 2 to 3 fights so America can know him. We know him, but America does not know Inoue. Inoue fights at 4 a.m. So they never will. Realistically, casuals won't know Inoue because he fights too late. It just doesn't appeal to our time. We love boxing, but at the same time, America only really care about American boxers. That's just kind of the route that it goes. So in order for him to get famous or get big, he needs to come here and he needs to fight here at least once or twice. That's what the UFC would do. And then, all right, let's do this fight. It's the biggest fight to make, and the crowd wants to see it, and we're going to sell this whole out. That's just smart marketing right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I love that fight. I think it's one heck of a fight. Politics are in the way right now, and I think
Inoue
that
don't want to leave too. That's the biggest thing. Inoue don't
yeah,
want to leave.
yeah, dude doesn't want to leave Japan. I don't even know how they got my guy Fulton to go to Japan. That still bothers me till this day, and it just like it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
It is. But I do think that's the biggest fight in boxing. I think it's by far. Is it a little unrealistic? Possibly, but at the same time, like you said, this isn't MMA. MMA weight matters, like way more. Like, I'm not saying weight doesn't matter at all in boxing. There's weight classes for a reason. It matters. However, there's plenty of ways to finagle a weight difference when it comes to boxing, rather than in MMA. It's much harder because at the end of the day, you gotta grab it. And that weight, you will feel the difference once somebody starts grabbing on your leg and starts trying to body slam you, or start trying to hit doubles, and then really get into the grappling department, or not even fully get the takedown, just pressing against you against the cage and putting all the weight that you aren't used to on you, and it's just not comfortable. Anyway, really ain't got to worry about that. And then not to mention the way Tank fights. Tank ain't about to sit. Tank don't really try to bully folks. Like, that's not really his style. He counters. He just waits for you to do something stupid, then he just pops you. So it's not like his weight advantage would really be used. It's not like he's Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury uses his weight to his advantage. He just punches just to hold and then lean on you, get you tired, then he boxes. That's not how Tank fights. So it's a possible fight. And I think even metric-wise, I think they're kind of similar. I don't think it's like Tank is like towering over him and they have like such a longer reach. Like I'm even about to do the math right now because I don't really think it's that big at all. Actually,
I think they're literally the same size.
yeah, same height,
Yeah.
and I think they're the same. And I think this is the same reach, 6.5 inches. And let's go ahead with Tank. Tank Davis is big, same reach, same height. They're literally the same size. Like it's just Tank's just a little heavier, and Tank has been losing. And the crazy thing is, Tank's been losing weight. Tank ever since Tank got out of prison, he's gotten small.
The prison workouts. Sorry, that's not.
He's either been more dedicated. He's been doing some kind of diet stuff. But the Tank that I saw, I was like, bro, he's skinny now. What has this man been doing? Yeah, sign me up today.
Yeah, it's crazy. They are, like you said, they are the same size. They are the same, length and reach and everything. There's just, like I said, some politics in the way right now. I don't think Inoue realizes how big a fight with Tank could be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's astronomical numbers. I mean, simple and plain. I mean, technically. Manny is Asian too. Now that I think about it, so like that's probably the biggest fight ever. So I want people to fact check. Like, well, what about Manny Pacquiao? Okay, I lied. Okay, Manny Pacquiao is the biggest. Okay, with Manny versus Floyd, he's still Asian. I keep forgetting he's Filipinos. Sometimes he looks Hispanic. I'm sorry. It confuses me. I'm sorry. I apologize. But yet still, outside of the Filipinos, I'm talking about Japan. It would be the biggest fight for sure in Japan. And I think that it would just do numbers, simple and plain. So that's my fight. I would love to hear you guys and what you guys think of, like, and it can't be ours. You can't steal ours. We took kind of the easy route, but it could be some other people coming up. You can even throw Shakur in there if you want to. But I want to know, what do you think is the biggest fight? Not to make in boxing right now, because that to me is a different answer. Because I wouldn't make a Tank and Inoue fight right now. I think that's a fight that needs a bigger build. I think that's a 2-year fight, a 2-year plan. I think both need to be undisputed in a closer weight class. I want to know, what do you think in a year or two, maybe even 3, that would be a fight that could at least rival the impact of a Floyd versus Manny Pacquiao? We want to hear what you think. Tell us either on social media where you can follow us at Josh on Fight Forum, or you can tell us right on this page, which would be even better. Tell us on our YouTube channel. We want to get some more engagement. We want to hear what you guys are thinking. Josh, you have anything?
Just make sure you hit us up on Twitter. We're actively engaged on that. Definitely replying back to anyone who mentions us. So excited to see you all on that platform.
We do follow back. So, unless you're a troll account, then we don't.
Or a bot.
But thank you guys for watching. As always, man, you can find me at Papa Showtime. Josh Showtime, whichever one you find me at. Josh, where can they find you?
You can find me at First Class Vias on Twitter.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. As always, man, we look forward to hearing from you. Make sure y'all be blessed.